Hey trumpet nerds, today I'm showing you the 5 trumpet straight mutes I use the most often in the orchestra and at auditions. Straight mute number 5 is the Denis Wick straight mute. This is the classic straight mute and is the first one I recommend for any trumpet player looking for their first straight mute. It is made of all aluminum and I consider the sound it makes to be the archetype of the sound a composer might be expecting when writing for the straight muted trumpet. It has a rich, buzzy sound and can be easily heard in the context of the orchestra at whatever dynamic is being requested. I've had a Wick since I was in high school, and I always bring it with me to the orchestra and gigs when I'm not sure what the section will be using. There are some negatives that keep this one down at number 5 on the list. This mute is often quite sharp, unless you move the tuning slide, and I feel that the lower register is not that comfortable to play. Regardless of that, the Wick is the classic straight mute choice and is very affordable, around 40 bucks. Links to buy these mutes will be in the description below. Number 4 is the epic Trumcor straight mute. When this straight mute burst onto the scene about 10 to 15 years ago, people seemed the most excited that there was finally a mute that corrected the things that they liked the least about their old school straight mutes. The Trumcor metal straight mutes feel free-blowing to play, you don't have to move your tuning slide, and are really good for the more robust and loud straight muted trumpet parts. Even though you can really pump the volume with this one, I've had at least one person tell me it doesn't make the trumpet sound muted or buzzy enough, and I can see where they're coming from. Another little thing about these is that the corks are tall and have a very narrow base attaching them to the mute body, so if you twist the mute too hard, you might break them off and have to re-glue them. The Trumcor is a premium straight mute and is just the right thing for certain situations that come up in the orchestra, so I feel very confident recommending them even with their comparatively high price point of around 85 bucks. Straight mute number 3 is another mute from Trumcor, the extremely handy Trumcor Lyric straight mute. Referred to by some as the job saver, this mute gives you a muted trumpet sound but without a lot of the buzz that typically makes a straight mute project. This one is meant for those really soft passages where you're supposed to be blending with delicate instruments at risky dynamics, and you're anticipating getting the hand from the conductor. These provide a comfortable resistance and are fun to play, but this is another one that tends to play a bit sharp unless you pull out your tuning slide. Another sort of drawback to having this mute is that you might be tempted to use it every time you have a muted passage softer than mezzo forte. However, I feel sometimes you really need the persistent shimmer of a soft metal mute. And also, this mute cannot play loudly well, so it's not good for licks that have a wide dynamic range. I definitely recommend this one for any serious high schooler who's playing in youth orchestra, and I certainly bring one with me to every gig, whether I know I'm supposed to bring one or not. This one is about 70 bucks and worth every penny. Straight mute number 2 is my favorite newer entry to the metal straight mute market, the Soulo Straight mute. My whole section was really impressed the first time we tried this one, since it has a very nice open feeling and plays well in tune, but still manages to have a nice bright buzz in any dynamic. This one has a cool appearance as well, with a hemisphere at the bottom with a little ledge for it to stand up on. One small drawback to this one is that the corks are again a bit tall with a narrow base, so they get separated from the mute easily. But you can always order extra corks and glue on some fresh ones. This is a top quality mute that can do basically anything and is a great value at only 65 bucks. Okay, the number 1 straight mute on my list, my favorite go-to straight mute, is the Crown Gemini straight mute. Just to be clear, this is different from the standard Crown straight mute. This has become the Charlotte Symphony trumpet section's go-to mute these days for typical muted situations in the orchestra, and I feel like it can sort of do everything. It's a good balance of free blowing, in tune, buzzy, shimmery, and hefty, while also being flexible enough to easily play energetic or mellow muted sections. This wide range of use cases makes it a no-brainer for us to use on the job. Not only is it a great all-around mute, but it's also very affordable compared to most of these mutes at only $55. There are so many other amazing straight mutes out there, as well as many others in my collection, but these 5 are the ones I am most likely to bring with me to an orchestra rehearsal or audition. Depending on the situation, my section may decide to use any of these mutes or a number of others to try to find the perfect sound for a certain context. Let me know in the comments below which straight mutes are your favorites. Thanks for joining me for this episode of John Talks Trumpet, and I'll see you on my next nerdy trumpet adventure.